Sunday, time for a new episode of Record Collecting with the Quill. Theme for today, before they became famous. There's tons of artists who started out as session players or in different bands as opposed to what they later became famous with. And this past week I've been enjoying some cool stuff, so I thought I'd share it with you here. But before we start, you know the drill. Make sure you subscribe and hit that little notice bell, and also share with your friends. Well, as I said, there's tons of cool stuff, and there's some great players who later became really famous, and singers as well, starting out in different genres of music altogether, and also in a lot of different bands. So starting out, we're going all the way back to 1964 with this album, Don Covey and the Good Timers, Mercy. It's a great rhythm and blues soul album on the Atlantic label, and what you have here is a young Jimi Hendrix on guitar on the title track called Mercy Mercy. There's been discussions over the years, but it seems like it's consensus now that he's actually playing. And if you listen to the title track, there's a really cool rhythm guitar that's oozes of Jimi Hendrix's style. And a really cool album altogether. If you haven't heard it, he made a lot of recordings with other artists before he went over to England and became famous in his own name. He did stuff with the Isley Brothers, King Curtis, and also Little Richard, and lots of other stuff as well. And I'm in no way an expert on Jimi Hendrix, but there's cool stuff to be found. But this one is, I had this album for years. I bought it in I think at a flea market or something, but I spin it every now and then. It's a cool one. Next one, totally different. We're jumping a couple of years, 20 years or so into the future, and we have here Alcatraz with Graham Bonnet on vocals from Rainbow, and you have a young Yngwie Malmsteen. He did two albums with him. He did the first studio album, No Parole from Rock and Roll, and this one, which I'm really fond of, the Live Sentence album. There's some great guitar playing here with Yngwie, and I think it's a shame. He should have stayed within a band context, I think, because of I think like the 4 or 5 first Yngwie Malmsteen albums are really good. But then I lost interest in him mainly because it's lacking in the songwriting department for my money. But here it's really cool. It's really cool to hear him play since you've been on the Rainbow track. But his playing is fantastic here, totally on fire. Alcatraz, Live Sentence with Yngwie Malmsteen. Next one, another guitarist. This is Wilson Pickett and the Hey Jude album, and here you have Duane Allman before he became famous with the Allman Brothers, and this is a great album. Soul. I love Wilson Pickett's vocals. He's such a powerful singer, and the guitar playing is really good from Duane as well. He did a lot of sessions in the in his short career, mainly for the Atlantic label. And all the great stuff he did as well with the Allman Brothers. But apparently this is the album Eric Clapton heard and decided to ask Duane Allman to join him for the Derek and the Dominoes sessions, or that album. And this is a cool piece. He made some great stuff, Wilson Pickett, in the late 60s. I'm really fond of that era. Next one, we're going for a singer. This is the band Black Sheep, and if you look there, you have a familiar face. You have Lou Gramm, who later became singer for Foreigner and made tons of really successful albums with them. But this is a great album. I really enjoy this one. It's for all you who are into Free. If you really like Paul Rodgers, there's some great stuff on this one. Lou Gramm's voice is really identifiable. which make this for an interesting listen. You can hear the greatness. There's some, if you enjoy Foreigner and their album, their earlier albums, I'm quite sure you will like this one as well. Some great playing, some great vocals, some great songwriting as well. Black Sheep. And next one, another singer who later became famous. This is the British band called Georgie from Newcastle, and this is their album Save the World. This is kind of a glam rock in the style of Slade and Sweet, and it has a singer who later in 1980 became famous when he joined AC/DC. It's Brian Johnson's band prior to joining them, and they were, I would say, a quite successful band in the UK at least, and made a couple of albums. And I gave this one a spin, and I had it for years, including this nice sticker. It's not on the actual, it's a sticker and it's not on the actual cover. It was quite a fun listen, actually. You can hear a couple of tracks where you can hear him using his AC/DC voice, so to speak, but overall he's a little bit more gentle here. But some really cool tracks. I was surprised. As I said, I haven't listened to it in years, but it was a fun listen, and I really do suggest you give them a spin. It's really cool. Georgie, Save the World with Brian Johnson from AC/DC. And next one. This is an album from 2004. It's a band called Buchanan, but it's all focused around Jay Buchanan, who later became the singer in Rival Sons. And this is an album I'm really fond of. If you compare to Rival Sons, who are more in the classic rock style, this is more in the singer-songwriter style, with fantastic singing from Jay and some great playing as well from the band, because it is a band here. But it's, as I said, more a mellower style, but his voice is all over the record, and some fantastic songwriting from Jay. And it's kind of hard. It's not on, you can't find on Spotify, and I think it's getting a little bit rare now because of the Rival Sons connection, but I think it's available. You can listen to it on YouTube. But as I said, great vocals from Jay, and great songwriting. Well worth discovering if you're into Rival Sons and other stuff as well. And last one, probably one of the more famous before they became famous albums, is this one, PJ Proby, and the album is called 3 Week Hero. And here you have all of Led Zeppelin actually on this album. You have John Paul Jones being the arranger and playing bass on the whole album. You have Jimmy Page playing a lot of guitar, pedal steel guitar, acoustic guitar, electric guitar. And you also have John Bonham, and you also have Robert Plant as well playing harp. And what can you say about this one? Well, it's not a great album in total. It's a little bit all over the place. There's some typical 60s pop music. It's recorded in 68, just when Led Zeppelin got together. There's some country style music as well. But there is the last track called, I have to see it now, Jim's Blues. You have all 4 of the Led Zeppelin guys playing together, and you can clearly hear the Led Zeppelin sound being formed. You have everything from John Bonham's triplets on the bass drum to Jimmy's great guitar playing and Robert's fantastic harmonica as well. And as I said, even though I'm not really fond of the whole album, it's well worth buying, because for the last song, Jim's Blues, but also if you're a bass player, I'm really into John Paul Jones' bass playing on this album. It's great. As I said, it's not that difficult to find, and it's a fun listen, but I guess for diehards in a way, but it's cool to hear some of the earliest work with all 4 guys in Led Zeppelin playing at the same time. It's 3-Week Hero with PJ Proby. Cool, 7 picks, 10 minutes. I think that's it for this week. I went and bought a bunch of albums from my friend Niklas at Dackes Vinyl here in Sweden. So I have a lot of stuff to listen to, and hopefully I'll get a great idea for next week's episode. Also, I got some stuff sent to me from some other dealers as well. So I have tons of records to listen to. So you know where to find me. I'll be here. Next week, I'll see you all again. And as usual, I will put a couple of tracks on the Spotify playlist. Not all of those albums I mentioned are available, but you can find them on YouTube if they're not available on Spotify. And also, make sure you follow us on social media. It's the QUILL Sweden. The QUILL Sweden. See you all again next week. Bye for now.